Pink is my favorite color. Oh, hi, Mark. Welcome to Ranking the Studio Albums. I'm Chris Norwood, on a journey to hear every song ever recorded. And be it for good or bad, better or worse, I've heard every song ever recorded by Aerosmith. And I figured the best way to share with you guys would be to rank the studio albums. So that's what we're doing here, guys. I don't have any physical Aerosmith media, but I've heard it all. And let's just jump right into it. We've got, holy moly, we've got a lot of albums. From 1973 to 2012, we haven't had an Aerosmith album for a while. A lot of solo projects, a lot of weird things going on with these guys. Getting older, one would, we haven't really heard officially, but maybe, I would like to think that Aerosmith have at least a few more records in them. What do you guys think? So, and I think a lot of Aerosmith fans would agree, and I've watched Sea of Tranquility's ranking their albums, and he didn't even touch their later output because he's just like, out of the 70s, garbage after the 70s. But I feel differently. And, I'm a little bit, a few years younger than Pete over at Sea of Tranquility. God bless that channel. Man, makes the nights go by so fast. Love Sea of Tranquility. Kind of inspired me to do this channel. So, but I've noticed when I'm watching him, I'm like, whoa, like, it's usually the albums that he hates are the ones that I like, which a lot of the YouTubers that rank albums, and I guess it's everybody. We all have different tastes, and that's what this is about. Let's just jump right into it. Okay, coming in, unfortunately, we're going to have to start with their latest album. I hate that when it's always, it's not always. I hate when it's that way, where their latest album is just the worst. But this, Music from Another Dimension, did it come from a dimension where this is actually good? This is horrible. I'm looking through the songs featuring Carrie Underwood. What is this? Absolute garbage. Street Jesus. Wow. Legendary Child. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think. Oh yeah. There's just nothing good. Nothing good on Music from Another Dimension at all. It's, I think in my notes here, it says garbage. 0 out of 15. That's my ranking on that one. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Coming in next, and they have so many bad albums. Now, they have a massive discography, and let's go back. So that was, they've got 15 studio albums. So there's a lot of bad, there's a lot of mediocre, and there's a lot of good. And I will be more excited by the end of this video, I promise you, when we get to those records that really, really get me excited. But we got to get through some of these hard times. Coming in, so bad. Rock in a Hard Place. Yikes, what a terrible atrocity. Just like on the scar on the face of rock and roll. Zero songs. There are 0 songs on this record. The album cover is bad. It's 40 minutes of just nauseating bad rock and roll, in my opinion. And we've got a lot of bad albums before we get to the good. Okay, I like the newer Aerosmith more than the older Aerosmith, even though I hated that new record. There's I guess a time period in which I fell in love with Aerosmith. You know, Aerosmith has those different eras, different kinds of Aerosmith music. Coming in next is going to be Night in the Ruts. Wow. Jeez Louise, is there anything redeeming about this? There is not. Nope. Nothing on this one I like at all. It's just a little better than those first two. Yikes. Ugh. Stuff was hard to listen to. Night at the Ruts. I saw it on vinyl last night and didn't want it at all. Coming in next is going to be another 70s record, Draw the Line. And let's see, so this one, you know, this one's got maybe a couple of maybe mildly entertaining tunes. This is their 5th record, recorded in New York. Caricature artist Al Hitcherfield did the artwork. I just do not like anything about it. Okay, so that was Draw the Line. Then we got to go, I think this one, I see this one in record stores all the time. Done with Mirrors. And let's see if there's anything. Nope, not a single tune. This is bad, guys. Like, this is one of the only bands where there's just like album after album after album of stuff that I don't like at all. Again, well, actually for the first time, I am an Aerosmith fan. I grew up with Aerosmith. But man, I'm not digging this 70s stuff. I'm not digging this 80s stuff. It looks like, yeah, I'm going to be that guy. I'm digging the 90s and early 2000s stuff. And we'll get there when we get there, right? We got to get through all these 70s and 80s records. Done with Mirrors was absolutely awful. Get Your Wings, the sophomore record. Here we go. Let's see if this one had anything redeeming. Same Old Song and Dance is okay. So Same Old Song and Dance is okay. Seasons of Wither is okay. So yeah, Get Your Wings is going to be the first one that I actually have a little bit of good things to say. It just, the other songs, there's 8 tracks and none of them are really doing anything at all for me. They're doing stuff for Pete Pardo over there. They're not doing anything for me. But now I'm excited because now we are getting into the good stuff of Aerosmith. So I'm going to stop making fun of them and stop saying that they're trash. So, you know, Dimension, Hard, Night, Draw, Done. Those were like just zeros. I give them all zeros. Get Your Wings, maybe like a half a point to Get Your Wings. This is okay. This is a late era Aerosmith. And their last good one, since Music from Another Dimension was awful, Honkin' on Bobo. I was really excited when this one came out, and I really loved that cover. I had this physical copy for a while. I really enjoyed this. It was kind of a cover of blues and blues rock songs from the 1950s and 60s. I really liked that concept. And I really had fun listening to it, although the replay value was not really there. I did enjoy Eyesight to the Blind, Baby Please Don't Go, and Jesus is on the Main Line. There is a Fleetwood Mac cover. Should have been better, but it wasn't. But I really enjoyed this. This was a really good covers album from Aerosmith. Alright, we've went through a bunch of records. Bobo, pretty good. Love that Bobo, right? Bobo good. Bobo real good. But you know what's better? Oh, and this is good. So actually, this is one of the only 70s records that I enjoy, it looks like. Debut, Aerosmith, self-titled. And this one gets some credit because of Dream On, Dream On, dream yourself a dream come true, and Mama Ken. Two of the best rock songs ever. Walking the Dog. So there you go. That was my only 70s record that ooh, maybe not. There might be a couple of 70s records that I enjoy. Maybe a couple more. We still got some more 70s records floating around out there in the ether. So let's just keep on moving. Train, keep a rolling, baby. That was self-titled. And then we got, ooh, here's a 2001. Okay, so we're getting into these 2000 records. Really digging this cover. Just Push Play, March 2001. Feel like, Aerosmith were on a comeback at this point, and I really was digging these tunes. Just Push Play, Jaded, Fly Away From Here. Sunshine wasn't the best single, but Jaded and Just Push Play were really excellent singles. Really got people talking about Aerosmith in the early 2000s, whereas people, that was their second wind. Maybe their third or fourth win. This band had been around so long. But it was really a big part of their early 2000s career. And it was pretty darn good. Really, really digging that. Coming in next, this album is a couple years younger than me. Permanent Vacation. 1987. Ooh, we got some singles I actually not familiar with. Ragdoll, Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel, a Beatles cover. This one's really good. This one is a really fun, good album. Some filler in there, but not too much filler. Pretty enjoyable 80s record. I'm not the biggest fan of 80s rock and roll. That's a really good one right there. Really liking that one a lot. So, coming in next is going to be Rocks. This is an earlier one for one of my top picks. It looks like it's going to be 3, 4. So it's my 5th favorite Aerosmith record. Rocks. I'm going to show you again. Kind of off my game tonight. Back in the Saddle, Last Child. Just those 2 tracks alone just make this record really pop at the beginning. Really good one. Really good album there. Coming in next is going to give me faith in that 70s Aerosmith again with Toys in the Attic. And this one had, I see it already. Title track, Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion. A big 10-inch record's okay. So this is for the first time on my list so far where we're getting an Aerosmith album that I can kind of play most of this and not kind of be disgusted by throwaway garbage tracks. So, that one's pretty darn flippin' delicious. Yeah. Okay, we got a streak of albums in order here to finish off my list. Maybe you can figure out if you're a real genius. Only geniuses can figure this out. Yeah. Coming in next is going to be 1989's Pump. That's how you say it. Pump. A lot of singles. This band is definitely a singles band. F-I-N-E. How do you spell fine? However you spell fine, that was a single. Going down, loving an elevator. Money on My Back, Water Song, Janie's Got a Gun. What it takes to let you go. Oh man, I know some people hate these ballads, but for me, that's the best part of Aerosmith, man. Come on, man. Those 90s ballads. Oh! Pump. Really fun listen. So, Pump is coming in as my 3rd favorite Aerosmith album. Whoa. In the comments, let me know how badly you disagree with me, because I know my list is really wacky with these classic bands, because I'm a 90s kid, man. Born in 85. Heard my parents listening to the pop hits of the late 80s, early 90s, and that's what I grew up with, and that's what I really fell in love with. That's how I fell in love with the classic bands, classic rock. And also where newer bands were influenced by these bands like Aerosmith and The Who. Really made me appreciate what my parents listened to even more when I fell in love with the 90s, 80s and 90s bands. Let's get back on track, people. But going off track is what it's all about. Remember that. But we're back on track. Pump! Poop! Poop is good. But what's better than a poop? Out of grip. Grip. Get Utter Grip. From 93, this thing had flipping 8 singles. Oh my gosh. They officially were singles bands in 93. Goodness gracious. 8. The whole album was a single. Eat the Rich, Fever, Living on the Edge, Shut Up and Dance, Crying and Crazy. Crying and Crazy. Some of the best and amazing. Just, oh, so good. So good, so good, so good. There's only one. There can only be one, guys. What's your favorite Aerosmith record of all time? Mine, My Weird Self. And oh, I don't know, my parents had this on CD and I kind of borrowed it from them and it ended up being mine. I kind of snuck it from their collection to mine. 9 Lives. Boom! 9 Lives. I wish I still had the physical copy of it. I do not. Came out in March of 97. And my parents had this for some reason. There was the original cover replaced due to controversy. Absolutely love this record. 9 Lives. Falling in Love is Hard on the Knees. Hole in My Soul, Taste of India, and the classic, the greatest Aerosmith song of all time. You know what it is, Pink. A song that's clearly about the color pink. Anybody agree? The flavors on this record really spoke to me. Like the Taste of India really comes to mind. Pink. It just seemed like they were experimenting in a really fun way. And a lot of people probably called it selling out. But for me, I felt like they had already gotten past that at this point in 97. And I feel like they were on to something like a better sound. And they really kind of fit nicely into the alternative 90s music. And I'm not sure why their output has really diminished in recent years. And during that very brief cut that you didn't even notice because of my film magic, I've seen some pretty depressing news about the state of Aerosmith in 2020. It seems as if Steven Tyler's doing a lot of other projects and the other guys in the band simply don't care anymore. And it seems like they're really irritated with each other. And they've made their money. They've done their thing. And it doesn't sound like we're going to be getting any future Aerosmith records anytime soon. The general consensus from the band members is, who cares? I know in 2014 to 16, 13 to 16, they were talking about possibly doing EPs or dropping singles or whatever, and now 8 years later it doesn't seem to be happening. We've got a lot of great music from these guys. We've got a lot of bad music from these guys. A lot of talk about and a lot to discuss with the career of Aerosmith, right? Actually, before I go, I got some real quick, interesting tidbits about this band. I actually was co-workers with a guy that actually was in bands at the same time that Aerosmith was coming up. They were in the same town, and everybody knew Aerosmith. They were kind of like the big up and coming guys around that area in the north, up north, and much farther north than here, as you can tell from my accent. And he knew when Aerosmith, or when the Toxic Twins came into the bar, that's when it's time to go, because they wanted to, they were so wild and were doing so many crazy things that you just kind of needed to get away from them. Because if you were around Steven Tyler and his Toxic Twin on guitars, it was not a good time to be in the bar. Let's just put it that. Just best, you'll get yourself in trouble if you're hanging around those guys in Aerosmith. Now, needless to say, my friend's band didn't really go anywhere, and Aerosmith took over the universe. Now they're working, or at least 8 years ago, they were working on music for Other Dimensions. So that's how big and epic Aerosmith are. Hopefully, maybe one day we'll get some new Aerosmith, but right now in 2020, it's not looking good. Like and subscribe for all the music news. I'm Chris Norwood. Rock on. Rock on.